Oh, hello. Didn't see you there. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, aloha. Thank you for tuning in to my School of Life, Volume 3. Today's episode we'll be talking about an experience where I overbuilt on a space, a lease space, and the permitting wasn't allowed. I'll go over how that happened, what made that possible, some of the steps you can take to prevent that. Who I am, I'm John Anthony. I was inspired to make these videos by a couple of mentors, Gary V and Ike Shahada. Gary V is a good motivational speaker, fantastic. I love his content. And Ike Shahada has a School of Wealth. And just the other day, he posted a video where he did 101 push-ups online live. He didn't show his whole body, so he might have been on his knees doing those Air Force push-ups, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt for right now. But he did call me out, so we'll see. Maybe coming soon, I'll post my video of 100 push-ups. I gotta work out first, so we'll see. But anyways, I'm John Anthony. I'm a father of 2 boys. One's passed out right next to me here in the car seat. And father of a loving wife. I'm a small business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an investor. Ex-military. You name it, I've done it. I've been a consultant for years. And these videos are important for me to share with you right now, because if you're going through all this stuff, all this quarantine, social madness, social distancing stuff, then maybe you, like a lot of others, are thinking about, other ways to come out of this better than you were before. And so these are designed to share with you some of my experiences. There's tons of content out there, how-to videos and do-it-yourself, but these videos are going to be geared towards showing you how to succeed through failures. I'm going to show you my experiences where I've made sometimes gross mistakes in business that potentially could have been avoided, and I'm going to share those with you. So if you're thinking about opening up businesses, you don't make the same mistake I do. Okay, it's just that simple. School of Life. And SOL, these moments that we go through when we are shit out of luck and we feel like we are, down in the dumps, that's really when we have to dig deep and find out who we are and become the best version of ourselves at that moment. So I encourage people right now to be brave and be hopeful. And I don't know about you, but we've been so fucking bored at our house. I mean, we're taking dishes that are clean and we're just washing them just because I'm running out of things to do. I'm having my wife cook food just to throw it away so she doesn't get lazy. If you have kids at home, I'm wondering how many times you've watched Onward during this quarantine period, this isolation shelter in place. Thank goodness for Disney Plus, right? They had a great job with that movie Onward, but I've watched it literally every day, like twice a day, and I'm not over it yet, but I'm getting there. I'm just like 80% over it, whatever. So anyways, a little bit about me, who I am. I got my first, I started my first business selling newspapers when I was 12 years old. I got a check from the San Mateo County Times before there was labor laws, and I was working for them as an employee, making a couple $100 a month after developing a few routes after school with the help of my friends and family. And I realized at that moment that all the lies you've been told in school about money doesn't buy happiness and money is the root of all evil, that's fucking bullshit. And money does buy happiness, and money is not the root of all evil. With money that's earned ethically, you can do great things. And I was able to buy myself bikes when I needed to upgrade them as I got older, and I was able to buy myself shoes and pants and clothes and hats. And when the ice cream man came down the street, I could buy all my friends ice cream, and I didn't even, I wasn't even worried. I was making a couple $100 a month at 12 years old, plus tips, working in a really nice, delivering papers in a really nice area of Burlingame in the San Mateo County. So again, I fell in love with money and the idea of what it could do and the type of things and opportunities it created for me, and here I am, ever since, never looked back. So anyways, this particular story I'm going to share with you today was mentioned in story in my first SOL volume 1, where I was talking about different types of leases, gross, modified, and triple net leases. And this story came up because we were in growth mode. This story again involves a sandwich shop up north, another small business. We were in growth mode, and growth mode is basically something that happens when and again, for us, these are my experiences. These aren't always going to be your experiences, but for us, growth mode meant that we were in a small town. The word was getting out that we were creating a great culture in our sandwich shops. We were having great food, high quality food, and reasonable prices. And so we had no shortage of investors and landlords coming to us regularly, offering us spaces to grow into and expand into. And saying no is the most important thing you can do as a small business owner. As soon as you started to grow past one location, things got very complicated. And so we had all these different opportunities, and we weren't trying to expand very quickly, but one of these spots came to us that we had to take a look at. It was near these colleges in Redding, Shasta County. It's a very small area up there, and there's only a couple, big industries. This area where we were considering opening up was right next to the Shasta County, or I'm sorry, the what is it? The City College, the Shasta County City College, College of Shasta County or whatever, and by Simpson University, which is a Christian school, and by Bethel School of Ministry, another fantastic organization up there in the. So it was a good spot that we were open to, even though we weren't looking at areas up there when it came to us. And this particular scenario, the reason why I think it's important to share this video is because no matter how seasoned you are in businesses, this is one of those things where unless you've heard about this particular story, this could happen to anybody, because it was just so weird. So in Shasta County, these people came to us. They had a market that was available that used to have a deli inside. They asked if we wanted to open up a new deli inside there for the college students. And we went through the proper channels of talking to the city to make sure that we were okay to open up a permitted use space inside this particular spot. And everything was okay with the city, so we get going. We start doing our build out. We're buying signage. We bought all of our equipment. We're buying inventory. We're doing our build out stuff. We're 95% ready to open, and we're doing one of our final inspections with the city, and come to find out that this was a new construction. They had not new construction. They had just bought the building. These owners. This was the same owners that came to us for our fourth location that we ended up having a big problem with. And so there should have been a red flag at this first issue, but they didn't do their homework. They bought this building, spent a bunch of money upgrading it, but didn't even realize or talk to the county, because in this particular county, when you buy a building and you improve it, you have to do a certain percentage of those values, 20% or 30%, whatever it might be. You have to do a certain number of those in ADA upgrades. And so these particular owners didn't do those upgrades. They didn't do any American Disability Act upgrades to improve the building as well, to make sure it was compliant with new standards. And they wouldn't, when they came in for a final inspection, they wouldn't allow us to get another conforming space permit inside there, without the owners doing their part to spend the money and make the ADA upgrades possible. So in the first video, obviously the landlords aren't really looking at spending a bunch of money or being really reasonable. In this situation, it wasn't any different. They ham-hawed about it for several months and drug their feet without telling us what was going on with the city or the county, before ultimately letting us know almost a year later. We had coming soon signs up and everything. After a year, they said, hey, we're not going to spend the money on the building to do the ADA upgrades, so they're not going to give us the permit. And we had to walk away. There was nothing we could do. We had to lose that investment, all that time, all the resources. And so again, this is one of those things where even savvy investors might have this going on. If you're signing a lease right now, or you're negotiating a space right now where the owners have recently purchased it, or they're doing a bunch of upgrades, check with the county to see if they have any specific ADA upgrades that are required. And just make sure that the sellers have done all their appropriate ADA upgrades, if the county requires it, before you put any of your time and money into the space. Because again, we could have avoided tons of heartache, tons of frustration. That was really discouraging. When you're in growth mode and you have to put out thousands of dollars to invest, and only to see it not come back, it was really disheartening. And so again, I share these videos with you not to scare anybody away or deter people from getting leases. And if you have any questions, message me directly. You know, this content is free, but right now, message me directly. And any questions, you know, my goal is to help people through my mistakes and to share my mistakes with you. So that way, if you are thinking about doing something right now, whether it's opening up a real estate business, you want to be the best realtor, like my sister's in real estate right now. There's lots, you know, many folks are starting new businesses right now. My sister, one of them, and you know, whether you're doing stocks, whether you are going to be doing bookkeeping or hairdressing or nails, or you're an esthetician or you want to do eyebrows, whatever you want to do, eyelashes, you know what? Now's a good time. And so if you have been watching these videos, I appreciate that. There's more to come. I've got tons of mistakes that I've learned along the way that hopefully you can learn from, and you don't have to make the same mistakes I do. Again, I hope wherever you are being safe, and hopefully, you know, where you are, life is coming back to normal soon. They're removing restrictions, and hopefully, gradually, we will get back to normal. We will get through this. And again, you know, in business, don't focus on your mistakes. If you've made mistakes and you're sitting here and you're watching these videos and you've made mistakes and you're afraid to try again, I listen. You know, you got to keep moving forward, and you can't be afraid to make those mistakes. And it's a good old-fashioned car windshield analogy. You know, the reason why the dimensions of the windshield and the rear view are the way they are is because if they were opposite, it would be impossible to propel yourself forward in a reasonable way without being endangering somebody. If you were looking through a very tiny rear view mirror driving forward at 100 miles an hour, it'd be very impossible. But you're supposed to have a small rear view mirror, so you always remember the things that you've been through, but it's supposed to be a small memory behind you as you continually move forward throughout your adventure in life. And that's just my 2 cents. Again, these are not everyone's experiences. If you feel like what I'm saying is false, I'm hoping to spark debate and to create, you know, conversation. I'm just trying to, you know, stir up the mechanism by sharing my experiences. And hey, you know what? Again, thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned for School of Life Volume 4. One question I have to answer, so people have been asking me, why am I the Duke of Sandwiches? Because one of my mentors, Ike Shahada, the School of Wealth, the international sex symbol, self-proclaimed, he's the king of sandwiches, and by definition there can only be one king. Kings have no fun, they have all the work and no fun. Dukes have all the fun, as you can tell. So I'm the Duke of Sandwiches, and I'm very happy with my role, and I'm okay with that. So again, thank you for engaging, and we'll talk to you soon. Happy days, people. Aloha. No bad days.